This is Sparta.
You know, depression is a choice. Heartbreak is a choice. All that is a choice. But sometimes there are real chemical imbalances that are happening for people, and it's not their fault. Is that borderline personality disorder, at the base root of it, is a deep soul level, core level fear of abandonment. Narcissistic personality disorder, their MO is to manipulate, to control, to make you lesser than, have contempt. It's how badly can I erode this person? But they don't even know that they're doing it. I don't think a narcissist ever changes, to be honest. But if you allow me to disrespect you, I'm gonna see, oh, how much more can I disrespect? That someone with narcissistic personality disorder ever changes. And if they do, it's strategic.
Hey everyone, it's Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge. Welcome back to another amazing Forbidden Knowledge podcast. Today I have an amazing guest, Dr. Sarah Fontenot. She's a self-love advocate who has been doing amazing work in the field, and you've probably seen her already because all of her clips are going viral everywhere. I found her just searching for information about relationships and counseling. I saw you just came back from a big trip, your big birthday trip. And so it's an honor that you actually took the time to come here because obviously that takes a lot of energy.
Costa Rica for about almost a week. And it was beautiful, but also I'm a workforce. So I was trying to enjoy, then get back to it.
Right. Yeah, you like me. I just go. When I have to go, I just go.
You just gotta go.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta do it. So thank you again.
Of course.
Now, obviously, one of the reasons you're here is because I'm interested in presenting information to people that can help them with their relationships, personal healing, growth, self-love, and all those amazing topics that you talk about. And the reason why I contacted you is because I saw your technique as being a very unique technique in the field, whereas a lot of people just seem to put out information that almost like it's just regurgitated, but your information seems to be unapologetic. And, but my information is unapologetic, and I notice how that grabs people's attention because it's like, oh man, did he just say that? And I was like, did she just say that? You know what I'm saying? So I had the same gut-wrenching reaction to some of your content because it was almost unbelievable that a woman would say what you said about either a man or a woman, masculinity or femininity. And I think that what I've seen so far, not from just you, but there's only been maybe 4 or 5 others, but for the vast majority of people talking on these topics are just kind of really talking very soft, gentle, and not really allowing a person to be held accountable for their actions, not being able to show a person where, they're making mistakes or things that they've done wrong or the position they put themselves in. A lot of the times I think it's where we put ourselves in situations. And so today I want to touch on a topic that I really haven't heard you talk about much, which is borderline personality disorder and narcissistic avoidant. And then we're going to talk about, what if somebody has both of those at once?
I would say when it comes to borderline personality disorder, this is from what I've learned, study, is that borderline personality disorder, at the base root of it, is a deep soul level, core level fear of abandonment. And so it can come across as moody, and a lot of times it's lashed out inside of anger. It's like, oh, you did this, but it's because maybe you didn't say I love you, but I'm afraid that you're gonna leave me, and so now I lash out at you with anger, and this this cycle of thing because now I'm pushing you away, which just induces more of my abandonment. So it's this really toxic cycle, and a scary one to be in. And I think that one of the biggest things as far as borderline personality does is you'll know because it can happen within an hour. Like it can literally, you can go from joy to sadness to fear to anger within 59 minutes. Okay. Wow. It's almost like this emotional whiplash that you can get when you are that person, and even more so when you're experiencing that person because you're like, yo, I just forgot to say I love you. What's the actual issue? Borderline personality disorder is a scary thing, and I think that you should absolutely see a professional if you think that you're one of those people that have that, or if you know someone that does. And it's hard to say, hey, I think you.
Yeah, you can't tell them that.
Yeah, they represent themselves. And I will say for anyone with a personality disorder, because narcissistic personality disorder is different from a narcissist. Two very different things. And when you throw avoidant into there, mind you, I think you could be more narcissistic with borderline personality disorder than avoidant with narcissistic personality disorder because the intentions of those two things are different. But you need help. And I can honestly say, transparently speaking, I am a very strong-minded person. I'm like, you can will yourself out of anything. Like, I'm almost one of those people that would think, depression is a choice. Heartbreak is a choice. All that is a choice. But sometimes there are real chemical imbalances that are happening for people, and it's not their fault. I was having this conversation with a man on McLean, and he was telling me that he's on a weight loss product. Kind of like an Ozempic or a Wegovy or whatever. Gotcha. And he said, I lost 75 pounds with this product. And inside of my journey, there was 1 month where I didn't use it. And he said, I was so hungry all the time. But now that I'm back on it, I'm not hungry. I don't have a desire to eat the ice cream. I don't have a desire to this. I don't have a desire to that. And so inside of that, it's almost the same where the medication that you might take, and I'm not saying do medication because I'm feeling big time or whatever, personally. But I will say there are things that happen that have fired and wired in our brain in a way because of our upbringing or experiences or protection or trauma responses, all of these different things.
Yeah, it's a deep one. You went over some of the traits. Like, how can a person identify themselves as having that, that mental, I don't want to call it a disability. What is it?
It's a disorder. It's a personality disorder.
Right.
So there are 9 traits inside of borderline personality disorder. And they say in order for you to be diagnosed with that it's 5 out of the 9, sometimes 3 out of the 9. And it's usually the lashing out. It's usually like the whiplash happening when a really fast period of time. It's usually that fear of abandonment. Now, narcissistic personality disorder, they don't think they're sick. Like, there's regret. If you lash out and you have borderline personality disorder, oftentimes after it happens, you'll come back and you'll be regretful. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know what's wrong with me. But you go through this hold, and which then again puts you back in that toxic cycle because now you're doing too much to that person and it's going to push them away, which causes more fear of abandonment. That's different. Narcissistic personality disorder, their MO is to manipulate, to control, to make you lesser than, to have contempt. It's how badly can I erode this person? And I think a lot of the times, because oftentimes empaths will attract narcissists or people with narcissistic personality disorder. I think people somehow have started to think that, they only go for like the weak, low self-esteem, low self-worth people. No, there's no challenge in that. They want the highest self-esteem, the highest self-love, the highest self-love or self-worth, because they want to see how badly can I erode this person. But they don't even know if they're doing it. I don't think a narcissist ever changes, to be honest. I think it will always be. Now, I should also say this. The caveat to that is not every narcissistic trait is bad. It's to an extent. I think the difference between a disorder, right, and just being a normal human being, because we all have all of these things. It's the extremity of it, right? How extreme is it? There is a level of self-importance that you should have. That's a narcissistic trait. There is a level of delusion that you have to have, especially if you want to be successful. But narcissistic personality disorder is when you live inside of the delusion and then you enroll and use tactics like love bombing, like gaslighting, all of these manipulative tactics to roll others into your delusion. So much so that the person starts to think they're crazy. You know, my world isn't real. How I feel is me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see someone that thinks so highly of themselves over time turn into like, I don't even, what is it? What's my name? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting to me that this disorder exists because it's consistent person to person. Yeah. In other words, if you have 100 people with that same disorder, they're all going to display the same exact tactics and techniques to try to erode or destroy someone. And I'm trying to figure out, where's this narcissistic disability or mental illness university? Like, how do they all learn this exact same system?
The brain fires and wires, right? When you think about how do, let's say someone that has Down syndrome, there's a look to Down syndrome, right? There's nothing right or wrong about it. It's just oftentimes it's someone, depending on where they're at, have that syndrome, you'll be able to see it. That's what the body did. In the same way, it's the way your brain is firing and wiring. You know, and it is scary. It's a scary thing. I once dated a man with narcissistic personality disorder, and he used to do the craziest things. I remember, just as an experience, because I don't think lowly of myself. In fact, I know I'm God's child, so I would never speak lowly of myself. And it took me a while to get to this point. But I remember he used to say just mean things all the time. He once went to a comedy show. I'm going to say it's in Wisconsin because I never connected out. So Google it now. And we were in Wisconsin. And we went to the comedy show, and my friend was a comedian, and it was a great show. And afterwards, a girl came up to me, and she said, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. You are one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen." I said, "Oh my God, you know, often what we see in others is what we know of ourselves." It's a good thing. Because I love to include. Like,
of course, for sure.
And she said, "Oh my God, I love you. You're so beautiful." And then she started walking away. And my man at the time said, "What did she say?" And she turned back around and said, "She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." And then she proceeded to walk away. And he said, "Oh, she's probably never been out of Wisconsin."
Yeah, that's a narcissistic statement for sure.
And I was like, wait, why am I being attacked right now? Like, and I'm a very kind person. I'm confident. I'm not arrogant. You know, I'm not the most beautiful girl, to be honest. Best part about me, you can't even see it. But what I will say is it's those little things where you start to, oh, you think you're better than me now. Oh, or it's like, let's say you went to Thailand 2 weeks ago, and they would say, or let's say I went to Bali or wherever, then somebody that, "Oh yeah, I used to do that back when it was actually when it's not so cool." It's these little slight murderful aggression that make you wonder, like, is it me?
Yeah, it seems so ambiguous, you almost can't put your finger on it, but it adds up over time, and it slowly then erodes your whole personality, and I can see how that can happen now, It's like they have a playbook. It really is like a playbook. It's amazing that the consistency of it can be across all different races, colors, creeds. It doesn't really matter. Like you say, it's almost like the brain is firing in a specific way. It must be a certain code or pattern within the brain. Then, do you think they're born with this?
I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely do. And also, they lack empathy.
Yeah.
That's like the base root of narcissism, of narcissistic personality disorder. And you think it's real. You know what I mean? So if everybody in here is like, "Oh, this has pink juice," right? No, this is clear. This pink. And the thing about humans are, whoever's most certain will always win. So depending how many times and how certainly I tell you that this liquid right here is in fact pink, over time you might be like, "Then maybe pink is just a different color." Deal. Is it? Because now it's like, how can this person be so boldly this wrong? That's clear. No, it's not. It's pink. And that's the way society is ran.
Absolutely.
Most people, they follow. They don't lead. And so a narcissist wants to make you think that this is in fact pink. And you should never drink this because it'll ruin your life. All right? And it's like, no, we actually need this to live. It's very strange. There's just no empathy, no understanding, and no sense of them actually having a disability.
Right, exactly. It seems as if the reality that they make up, they almost believe it. Well, they believe it, I guess. they create this reality, and then somehow their brain rewires itself to believe that situation or that statement or that thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, Billy, when I was in that same relationship,
Yeah.
now I have traveled the world teaching on leadership, self, and business development, right? I've been translated in Greek. I've been translated as Spanish. I've been spoken in almost every state. I've spoken in Iceland, Sweden, Mexico. I've been everywhere teaching leadership, self, and business development. So highly effective, communicative, speaker, international world. I started to be like, maybe I'm just not communicating directly, but maybe I need to figure out how to say this in a different way. And no matter what ways I tried to figure out how to speak to this person, it didn't work. And oftentimes for people that are narcissistic, and we've talked about this before, Dr. Gottman talks about the 4 horsemen in a relationship. And if you have all 4 of these things consistently in your relationship, it is guaranteed to fail. And those 4 things are contentment, criticism, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And stonewalling is when you shut down, criticism is when you pick at someone, defensive is when you can't take anything in, and contempt is when you put yourself above your partner. And I found that even though stonewalling usually happens about 2 years into a relationship, you start shutting down, I was shutting down in 5 months. This is highly effective communicating, internationally known for me. I'm shutting down because no matter what I say, it was so defensive. It was so critical. I'm like, well, it's easier for me to just shut down than say anything because I don't even want to start a problem.
Right.
So honestly, if you see those things and they start so slow, they're so methodical, but you got to run with me though. They had to, because they don't change. Narcissists don't change. Borderline personality disorder just needs medication for the most part, most times. Avoidant, that's completely different. So narcissistic personality disorder and avoidant attaching styles, which I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. So the attaching styles, which are anxious, secure, or avoidant. Avoidance, the difference is the intention. So if a narcissist's intention is to manipulate you, is to erode you, is to have control over you, is to enroll you into their delusion. However, an avoidance intention is to protect themselves. And so sometimes that self-sabotage or that keeping you at an arm's distance or that hot and cold treatment that you're getting from an avoidant that might feel like a narcissistic trait is actually them being terrified to lean on anyone else because somewhere in their childhood, no one was there for them. So they built a defense mechanism that says, I don't need anyone else. I do this by myself. And so they use autonomy as a shield of, I'm actually terrified to let anyone in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Do you think that the narcissistic, what would you call it again? It's a personality disorder, but the narcissistic version of that. Do you think that those people can ever love anyone?
No, I don't think they can. I think they love themselves. And I don't even think they think that, I think they think they are loving someone. That's the craziest.
They've convinced themselves that they love someone.
They are enrolled in their own delusion, so no, I personally do not believe that someone with narcissistic personality disorder ever changes. And if they do, it's strategic. That's what I think. It is a strategic, calculated move in order to get what they want or who they couldn't have at the time, because it's all about the win. It's all about the conquer. Maybe you said you're going to break up, and I'll break up with you first. And then if you did break up, they'll change. They'll change temporarily. And then they're going to show you all the ways they change just so they can break up with you. So that they can say, oh, I get it. It's some ribbons. It's truly a disorder.
Yeah, it really is a disorder. I can see that. Now, the avoidant is more for self-protection and self-preservation mindset. Absolutely. So they want to preserve themselves from getting hurt or feeling any kind of mental pain, right? So they're creating these fake borders. But can they love somebody?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So like I said, the 3 attachment styles, anxious, especially 4, anxious, secure, avoidant, and then there's 5% of people that are anxious avoidance. don't date those people. Back in the rope goes to ride. I need to heal. And they say that it can take up to 4 years for you to come from anxious on one side or avoidant to get to that middle part of secure.
Wow.
So 50% of people, they say, are secure. 25% of people are avoidant. 20% are anxious, and 5% are anxiously avoidant. So oftentimes with the avoidant and the anxious, they honestly should just try to find a secure, because it's been said that people with a secure attachment style love people into that safety of security.
Gotcha.
But if you're an avoidant with an anxious, and a lot of people have found that in their relationships, it never goes well.
Yeah.
Because the anxious is constantly looking for reassurance. I need you to love me. I need you to see that I'm here. I need to feel valued. I need to be seen. And the avoidant is like, I need my space. I need my autonomy. So now the anxious is like, but do they love me? Like the avoidant is like, why are they so annoying? Of course I love them.
Yeah.
But they both use smoke screens of, show me that you love me versus I ain't about to tell you.
Yeah.
Which is really, it's a deep fear on both sides.
Wow. So both sides are creating this delusion in their minds, which is keeping them apart.
Yes.
What's crazy is, how do people even get together in the first place when they have these, I don't want to call them illnesses, but when they have these disorders?
I don't think they should.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
I don't think they should. Personally, that's my personal opinion, not the medical opinion. My personal opinion is that people need to do the work to heal. One of the reasons why I speak on self-love so much is because I'm not pro-marriage, I'm not against marriage, I'm not pro-relationship, I'm not against relationship. I'm pro-self-love so that you can powerfully choose a partner that is in alignment with you, that you wake up and you actually feel good around. And I think that, I say this all the time, I think there's a big difference between being husband and wife and being married. And most people are just married. So if you're an anxious person who really can't stand your partner that's an avoided person, and vice versa, I don't want that kind of marriage.
No.
But if you can heal yourself out of the anxious, like there's a difference between potential and theory and potential and action. If you take action to healing yourself to being a secure partner, oh, now I can choose you. Now when you don't call me that, then you tell me you're gonna call me in 15 minutes. I'm not thinking, oh my God, he left me. He's never gonna call me again, and now we're gonna break up. Well, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And vice versa. When an avoidant, the anxious tells the avoiding, oh, if you never tell me you love me, what is going on? What is it? You don't have to put your arms. You don't have to keep doing this because you're not rooted inside of a fear of abandonment on both sides. Right? To be honest.
Gotcha.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
When these children are growing up, is there anything a parent can do when they see if they can pick out some of these traits?
Yes, this happens in childhood.
Yeah.
This is the parent's fault.
Right.
To be honest, if you are an anxious or avoidant, I can't say that for narcissistic personality disorder, nor can I say that for borderline personality disorder. But anxious and avoidance happens because both of them felt abandoned, and one developed a mindset that says, I may have been abandoned, but I don't need you anyway. And the other one developed a mindset that said, why don't you see me? You should love me. I'm here. I might not be enough. So they're the complete opposite of the spectrum. But it's been said that parents that have more present, or children that have more present parents that allow their children to express, oftentimes are the secure attachment style. So if you are parents at home, then you guys got to make sure that you are being present with your kids. Like a lot of us are letting our kids be raised on iPads. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I'm not trying to tell anybody how to parent. However, just know it's a scary world.
They got the virtual friends that they never met. Most of them are grown men that are chatting with them and giving them advice. No, listen.
Let me find out a 55-year-old man is talking to my 13-year-old daughter.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. Listen, like I say, put them back in the reincarnation cycle. Yeah, they got to go. But so you said now basically a narcissistic disorder and a borderline personality disorder, when they're kids, there's almost nothing you can do.
It's a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
It really is. Now, I'm not as familiar with what I believe is a chemical imbalance. I'm not as familiar, but you see the traits.
Yeah.
You see it. It's almost like bipolar, because sometimes people will mix up borderline personality disorder with bipolar disorder, right? The difference between those two is when you're bipolar, the highs and the lows are much longer.
Yeah.
Borderline personality disorder is whiplash. Emotion.
It's all over the place.
It is a roller coaster.
Up, down, inside, and out.
In and out. But honestly, I really feel like you or someone that you know at home or whoever's listening to this think that you could have a problem. You want, the thing is, you have to want to get help.
Yeah.
And as a narcissist, ooh, child, I love it, but some afar. You have that, if you're dealing with a narcissist, you have to have the tightest boundaries in the history of all boundaries ever.
Yeah.
Like that's how you deal with a narcissist. They hate it.
Yeah. Well, they'll just dump you and go to somebody else.
All the better.
Yeah. That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but these mental situations or disabilities or disorders, it's just strange because a human being is so complex and so intricate, but yet you can be born with your brain wired in a way that creates these situations. Do you think it has anything to do with the way they were carried when they were in the womb, or any stress that the mother may have had, or the stress that they may have had in a relationship while the baby was being in gestation? Or what do you think? Is there anything you could think of that can create this situation?
I think for all situations, that things that can happen in the womb, right? And I forget the study. Oh, goodness. There's something along the lines where if a woman has postpartum, it is the man's fault. Because there's, and then you got this, and we could go 300 million miles deep on this. Yeah. But when you even take into account energies, people have energies. So now you got energies, you got DNA, you got feelings, you got emotions, you got regulation or not. And that's the thing with borderline disorder, right? Yeah. Personality disorder, that they don't know how to regulate. It doesn't exist. Yeah. So we're over here like, oh my God, why are you so bad? And they have no control.
They're gone.
What's happening.
Yeah, they're completely gone.
It's red. When it's black, it's black. When it's green, it's green. Yeah. And this is just what it is. Like, and there's no regulation. And I think a lot of that comes from our generations. Isn't there something about how my grandmother's grandmother's grandmother carried me in her womb? Like 7 generations, right?
Yeah. Well, we have epigenetics also. It goes back up to 15 generations.
So when you think about that and the trauma that especially for our people.
Yeah.
15 generations ago was not that long.
Oh, and that's not that long. That's during the slavery time as well.
Big slavery.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting captured. It's
creating a lot of stress and turmoil and disorders in us now, still to this day.
And that's why this generational curses are a real thing. It's not just money. Yeah. It's arrogant to think that money is the biggest problem. No. But I make it to learn that it's not everything, you know? But I just, yes, I do think that how you're carried, I think that the energies that you had, I think the lineage that you come from, I think the man that you have, I think the way that you're eating, that you're drinking, all of these things matter.
Yeah, it all plays a big role. Now, I know that when you're unhealthy with stress, fear, anxiety, anger, and of course, all these weird mood swings, if you're a person that experiences that, wouldn't you begin to get sick in some way? Is there any study that shows that these people get different types of illnesses or diseases or have a shorter lifespan, or that hasn't been done yet?
I don't think that that's been done. I'm not familiar. Okay. But it does remind me of Tony Robbins. I'm pretty sure you took it from someone else, but Tony Robbins always said, disease is dis-ease, right? So if you're not feeling good, because we don't attract what we think about. We attract what we feel strongest about. And some of us feel so strongly about our lack and our overwhelm and we're not enough. We're not significant. And if we're constantly, and we hate our job, we can't our bad kids. And if that's constantly what you're thinking, you continue to perpetuate that story in your life. Now, I'm not sure if that means necessarily that you are more connected to diseases, but that's a really beautiful question.
Yeah, and I added to his statement, dis-ease creates disease, which then has you pushing up daisies.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Definitely true.
Yeah, you'll be 6 feet deep.
What do you do to intentionally be in deep state?
Well, what I do, my biggest thing is my meditation. Okay, my meditation, and within my meditation actually is prayer. Some people think I don't pray because they think I have a different understanding of what, the ancients' information is. But I believe in prayer, just praying a specific way, praying from a position of power, no understanding that I should be granted this, whatever it is, because God is inside of me. And it's because God is inside of me, I believe that I should manifest abundance, not just money, but manifest abundance, health, happiness, everything that has to do with life. I should manifest that because that God is inside of me. And so within my meditation is that practice. And for me, especially recently over the last 6 months, just getting back to that, I felt like I got away from that quite a bit, that it was more sparingly and not on a consistent basis, taking my time to walk in nature. Like I tell you, I go out back there down that nature path and I just hang out with the animals and stuff. I go for walks throughout the neighborhood, just letting that vitamin E hit me from the sun, taking my deep breaths, doing my breath work. Well, everything's in the breath. And doing my meditations, for me, that has helped me just get back into like brain-heart coherence, get back realigned, get back in synchronicity, let me focus on myself, self-love, and then a lot of research into these topics. I've been spending decades researching ancient civilizations, quantum physics, sciences, astrophysics, astronomy, you name it, anthropology. I'm talking about at a deep level, right? And so I said to myself, I haven't spent much time focusing on relationships and psychology, self-love, a little bit, but not as deep as it could be, and understanding people, understanding relation. What is a relationship? Like, what does it really mean to be in a relationship? And what does it mean to actually find someone to get into a relationship with? It's a very deep process. So now I've taken and diverted and pivoted because I have a lot of the other knowledge already. I've got gigatoons of knowledge in my brain. Now it's time to divert my energy into understanding this field and this level of knowledge, because I'm a person that hasn't given up on love, haven't given up on the possibility of finding someone that can be in frequency with me and that we can build something together. And because I haven't given up on that, I said, well, you better learn this stuff. You better understand who you are and what's out there and begin to understand people better. So not only I can make better decisions, but I can also learn how to treat myself better, make better boundaries as well. Yeah.
That is so key, because when you're dating with intention, it's so much more challenging, because this is the thing too. Let's say that let's take the money out of it. Let's take attraction out of it. Let's just get on to core aligned values. Do you want what this person wants? Do you want children that then come in? Do you want to travel? Bring it in. What does it look like? Does your family live here or not? And you start literally shipping in at what do I am, which means you have to know self in order to be able to powerfully choose another person.
True.
And it's like, even when you meet incredible people, it's like, oh, this still isn't my person.
Yeah.
And I've had a beautiful dating experience. And even still, it's like, not my person. So it can be challenging, especially because we live in a world that weaponizes singleness. And when I say single, I mean, if you're not married, you're single. Widows, divorced, married.
That's it.
Those
That's
are the only options, okay? So if you are not married, you're single. And so inside of singleness, they'll be like, oh, well, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with him? Nothing. Do you know how hard it is to find quality people, especially in 2025?
Oh, man.
And then once you find quality people, then you get down to who are they really? How do they treat other people? How do they want to live their life? Do they love God? Do they have high energy or low energy? Are they actually a narcissist?
It's so much, man.
Yeah, being single is certainly easier, I think. But when you do find that person, I look at my parents, because my parents are like that. And I'm like, Cam, that's what I want. Wow. That ride or die, no matter what. And they don't even like you right now. I'm not going anywhere. Like Dr. Gottman says, he talks about your toes touching, right? No matter how angry you are,
I read that.
through the night, our toes have to touch.
That's right.
You don't have to cuddle. You could be on your side of the bed, on your side of the bed, but our toes.
We're gonna touch them feet. Yeah.
What we do as people is we allow so much space, like physical space creates energetic, spiritual, mental, emotional space, which creates resentment, which now creates a barrier. So now I can't even get to my partner because I've built so much in between he and I that it's like, oh, well.
Yeah, see ya, whatever.
And then it's just easier to quit.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty crazy
I know. It's wild. You know, out here, what I find is one of the things we touched on in the previous podcast, which is going to air soon, is accountability. Ooh. That's a big topic. Let's touch on masculine accountability and feminine accountability. So whichever one you want to go to first, because I'm telling you, I've seen and I've experienced some things in my past through several different relationships, you know, just where, for whatever reason, you try to suggest something in a nice way too, correct the situation, and then it just blows up, and it's like, wow, really? I'm just trying to help. And I know a man can't be always in help mode because we want to solve problems. Sometimes you just gotta listen, but sometimes you gotta be like, hey, this ain't right. Don't do this, don't do that. Or if you do this, it'll work out better. Or this information or whatever you're doing here is not gonna pan out. You should pivot to this. But then it just, poof. Yeah. What is that?
Oh, it's the tragic flaw of masculinity and femininity. And there's about 3 that I think of. But we as women just naturally don't take accountability. A lot of us. Some of us do, but most don't, because it's easier not to. And to be honest, men enable women not to take any accountability because you don't make us have it. So now, if you let a woman get away with running all over you, if you let a woman get away with certain things, what you're actually doing is you're creating the borders in which she lives. You're drawing the lines, and she's going to color inside of it. And as broad as you make those lines is as much space as she will take off. So a woman is constantly testing you, because to be feminine means you're testing for your safety. Yeah. You're constantly doing that. So if I'm testing and you let me disrespect you, I don't disrespect her, man. I said this once before. People ate me alive. Talking about, shut it up, not me, okay? But if you allow me to disrespect you, I'm gonna see, oh, how much more can I disrespect? Or how much more can I that is femininity's way. And so often what men will say, and it's so funny to me when I hear people get so offended online. I literally don't care. Yeah. But it's funny. It gives me a good giggle when they're like, well, why? That's childish. Why should a woman be able? Because you teach a woman. Yeah. She's following your lead. We are incubators. Whatever you give us, we grow. You've all heard this before. So if you give me strife and you give me a lack in emotional security and you give me questions and you're not giving me reassurance, I'm incubating all of that. And oftentimes it folds. Yeah. Right? And for men, I think men really get to do, women get to do a better job of taking accountability, and men get to do a better job of holding women accountable. Because oftentimes men are like, I don't even really want to get into, what's the point? I don't want to fight. It doesn't matter. It's not that serious. But it is.
That's our mindset. We literally be like, you know what? Just forget it. Whatever. Right. I'll just let this one slide, and it slides and slides and slides, and then you got a real landslide. Yes. Yeah.
And I think that people, if men understood, instead of getting offended or defensive about, that every single thing that woman does, unless she has some kind of personality disorder, right, it's with them. But if she is a healthy, self-loving, high self-worth, empowered person, she desperately wants to follow your lead every single time, quickly, in a hurry. But oftentimes, because in 2025, I feel like we are coming out of the age where men were raised by their mothers and they didn't have a man in the home, nor did have a man to look up to. True. Now they're looking at their mother, who's in their masculine, because she has to survive. She has to put food on the table. And then people weaponize that. And now we got single mothers that are weaponized for being masculine, but she has to be. It's out of survival and necessity, not out of desire. Yeah. And so it is harder to switch like code switch like that for a lot of women. And so what happens is these men are being taught how to be a man by a woman, but women are raising women in their sons. Because I can't teach you how to be a man.
True.
I will never be able to teach you how to be a man. I cannot stand when mothers say, Happy Father's Day to me, because you're not a father. No. You'll never be a father. And that goes back into so many things, like women use sex to get love, and men use love to get sex, and it's all this transactional stuff, especially in 2025. But I really, in my heart of hearts, feel like in order to have accountability, men need to step up in their leadership, and women need to step up in their accountability.
I can see that.
That will continue to have a toxic cycle until those things come into play.
Yeah, no, I can see that. What you just said makes so much sense, because I can see if I step into my masculinity the proper way and I set those boundaries initially, from there, now I'm establishing what the parameters are versus letting slide. And next thing you know, now I want to say, hey, no, don't do that, but it's too late. I've already allowed it so many times. How am I going to stop it now? Yeah, makes sense.
Challenge.
Yeah.
And I think men are actually really good at taking accountability. But I also think that men get to stop being so nonchalant about their actual desires. That's what I think.
Okay.
Most men are just like, meh, it's not worth it. Don't want to talk about it. Don't want to work better. Don't want to this. And it's like, no, I don't know why people have somehow equated that marriage means you're not supposed to be happy for a man. Men are just supposed to provide for the family and you stick in it and you no, your desires are important too. They're just as important as ours are. They just look different.
Right.
And I think that also has to change because I don't think we as women understand how many responsibilities fall on a masculine man. Not only do you have your own life and your family and your wife and your job, you have the weight of the world on your shoulders and then mess around for black and the
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's way more challenging
Yeah.
to be, I believe it's way more challenging to be a man than it is a woman. However, I also believe that it is way more challenging for a feminine woman to make a masculine man understand her.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, y'all just don't see stuff the way we do. We're the colors.
Yeah, yeah. We don't see stuff the way we just, we're logical, obviously, and 1 + 1 = 2, and that's how it goes, But I could see learning to understand your partner better from the perspective of where they see the world and how they see the world and how they're thinking. It makes it easier on a man. Like the more I've been studying and researching these last few months, I'm starting to see and play back things in my mind, back past scenarios. And I'm able to see, well, if I could have done this or that, or if I would have established this, then situations might have been different in this area or that area. But I think you're right, men can take accountability pretty easy. Now, some men won't because they might be narcissists. If they start backing up and fighting against everything you say, they might be a narcissist. But taking accountability has never really been a big issue for me. I think even have taken accountability for things that I didn't have to take accountability for, which is another problem. And that's another problem in itself, just to keep things cool. Be like, oh, yeah, I apologize. But sometimes, to be honest with you, sometimes I felt like I didn't do anything. And I think a lot of men are in that situation where we will just apologize and take the responsibility of something that we had nothing to do with just to keep the peace. Yeah, it's not good.
It's not a happy space to be in.
No, it's not.
And also I feel like it makes us feel out of integrity with ourselves, which makes us not feel good.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because I love retreats, right? I've invested so much in learning. And there was this one retreat, it was an opening your heart retreat. And I had just broke it off with my second fiance.
Oh, wow.
And at this retreat, they taught you this thing called the sorry list. If you're listening at home, do not do this until you listen to this entire portion, okay? Because this is important. I did not prepare me. So the sorry list is where you make a list of all the people that have ever wronged you and all the people you have ever wronged. And then you write a letter to that person taking accountability for everything, right? My list wasn't that long. I don't feel like I've been wronged a lot. Like it wasn't probably like 30 people. So that took a lot. It didn't feel like it's not bad to me. And I was 28 years old.
That's not bad.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm going through this entire list and I'm like, oh, I'm healed. I'm just going to send text messages instead of writing letters. But I wasn't prepared for the response of some or the lack thereof of others. And I tell you this story because my second fiance at the time, ex-fiance at that time, had sent him a message. And when I tell you, I took accountability for everything. I mean, things I didn't even really feel like I needed to take accountability for. I was really trying to walk in my white horse. I'm developed amazing cursive. How great I am. I'm saying sorry is like my fault. And this was the craziest part, Billy. Like days later, one of our mutual friends from my ex-fiance and I, she said, wow, girl, your apology was really beautiful. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, oh, when you sent your ex that message, we were all at a party. You read it to everyone.
Oh, wow.
Now, this is the thing. Not only was I mortified, that he read my long apology to other people, but I really was only mortified because I wasn't being honest with myself. The truth is, a lot of what happened, I felt, and he knew, or at least he would say, was caused by him. You know, a lot of what happened was, it was not my truth at all. It's now what happens when we're out of our truth? We overanalyze, we rethink about it, we play it from 14 different angles. And, oh, we got to do this, and dang, should I have said that? Now you're questioning your own trust with self. And that's one of the quickest and easiest ways to build or erode trust or confidence in self is by doing the things you say you're going to do. If you don't, we erode ourselves. If we do, it's like, no, this is my boundary. Love me or hate me, this is it. I'm not here to appease you. I'm here to love you.
That consistently, you then start losing, like, who are you? Who am I? Like, what am I doing? And am I really this person? Am I that person? Or did I really have some involvement in that? And you start questioning yourself so much, and then you start to lose yourself a little bit, you know? And I've been in that situation before.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I've been in that situation.
I
And
think we all
yeah, everybody's had to have,
serious relationship.
yeah, you have to have been in that.
You didn't know yourself all the way yet. I think now, probably over the last 2 years, and I've been doing this work for like 15, 16, 17 years.
Wow.
So, like, I'm just now in a place where, like, this is my boundary. And like we've heard before, boundaries are not me saying, hey, this is my boundary. Boundary is me saying, hey, this is my boundary. If you keep doing it, I enforce it by walking away or deading the action. You don't get to penetrate the boundary through it. I'm finally in a place at 37 years old, years young, at 37, where I confidently feel okay with a rise of the occasion or fall to the wayside. And I think that when you can get to that point, then powerfully choose your partner. It also really makes your pool small. And in a world where people weaponize singleness, you have to be willing to be patient. And your self-love really does have to be real. Fake.
Can't be fake.
Be real.
Gotta be real.
In order for you to be patient for your partner.
Yeah, that's an absolute fact. And it's really important, I feel, that people begin to really work on themselves. What I learned in the last 6 months, and I've been working on myself for about 2 years, but heavily in the last 6 months. And what I recognized was, I thought I knew myself, but there's levels to knowing yourself. There's levels to understanding who you truly are. And the deeper I went, the more I learned, and the more I was able to realize, wow, I've gone all these decades not really truthfully knowing myself and knowing, like, what I really want, what boundaries I should have and things like that. So I encourage people to really work on themselves. They have to, and when you say working yourself, I mean, like, beginning to, first of all, spend time with yourself, number one, all right, because that's important. And then also to find those trauma links, those triggers from the past, right, which I had to go into some real deep, dark spots. Some I forgot even existed. And I had to work on that, process that. You know, I went to 40 years of Zen, Dave Asprey's 40 years of Zen. And that's a week of 4 to 4.5 hours of meditation a day and psychotherapy and psychiatrists and EEG machines and everything else you could think of for a week straight. Like an 8 to 9 hour day every single day. Wow. You really get 40 years of Zen. When I came out of there, I was definitely a changed person. And but I continued to build on that and realize, like, wow, there are so many levels to working on yourself. When you think you've just got it, there's even more. There's even more, right? We're so...
Truly. Sure, that's how I really feel, all the things that I say, especially on my podcast, because sometimes people will say, well, she's single. Why should she be teaching about relationships? I don't teach about relationship. I teach about relationship to self. And when you raise your vibration, when you work hard on yourself, because I believe, like Kevin Samuel says, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, you can't use it. What is that? Well, I actually like that. Mind you, I want to know not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, and energetically. Rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And then where you don't like, you get to decide what are your units of measure. Because for me, success financially might be a completely different number from your number. But your number at the top is you physically, you're your weight goal or your partner or whatever that may be. Rate yourself based off of what is true for you. Don't use a 7. Add them up, divide it by 6. That's your average. And then know that whatever you want to fix, you can. So choose one and start to work on that. You can't work on everything all at once. It is overwhelming. You will be exhausted, and you will feel like you are just the crappiest person on the planet. But you start with, okay, physically, this month, I'm working on the physical box. I'm going to do a 15-minute workout by my bedside 3 days out of the week. I'm not saying I'm going to the gym now every day because it's not realistic, but can I do 25 squats combined with 25 lunges, combined with 25 push-ups on the wall, combined with a 30-second plank, combined with, after that, I'm going to have a smoothie instead of bacon egg skirts. Can I commit to that 3 days out of the week? Absolutely. And I can do that for 30 days. Well, once I started doing that for 30 days, okay, well, I'm getting into a routine with that. Now let's start in spirituality. I need to get closer to God. Well, one of the things that I personally do in the morning, I call it my, I have a morning regimen. Well, one of the things that I love when I wake up and how I get into peak state every morning is as soon as I open my eyes in the morning, I open them and I'm like, another day. And then I close my eyes, literally like that. Sometimes in my head, sometimes the data. And as soon as I close my eyes, I imagine like a spinning halo, like a sonic ring. Back in the day. My mistake. But I imagine a sonic ring going all the way around my head and all the way around my body. And I literally send healing and love and peace and prosperity and all these things. And I close it around my toes and I do it around my family. I get up, I make my love tea. I do my morning vision, which is where I talk to God, speak with expectation of how my life is supposed to go. And then I go to the gym or come back, or I'm in the shower listening to gospel, and I'm out of the shower listening to a book. By the time my makeup is done, this is Sparta. And I think that when we take that power over our day, where it's not up to that person that cut us off in traffic, because this is another thing. Regulation, going back to like borderline personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder, if you are a healthy person with no mental disorders, the most beautiful opportunity that we have is to regulate. Inside of our regulation, I like to say we have energy balloons, okay? How many energy balloons are you going to waste in your day? If we only have 10, let's say you wake up in the morning, you woke up 5 minutes and you're like, oh, dog about it, I'm late. One energy balloon.
Gone.
You got to get the kids up, kid heat in the bed. Now you got to pee the tea. That's probably 3 energy balloons right there, right? You got to get them ready for school. Right? Your bear kicked them to school. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. We're at 6 energy balloons. It's when we just left the house. That person cuts you off in traffic, you're at 5 energy balloons. You go to work, you hear the water cooler park, you can't stand this, oh, I just can't stand it. You're at 4 energy balloons. By the time you get home from your day, you have 1 energy balloon left, and you hadn't even dealt with the kids or your spouse.
Nothing.
You had nothing left in you because you continue to give energy to things that don't matter. So a much more powerful place is to be regulated. One of the things Jim Rohn says all the time is, I wouldn't sign up for that class. Just say, oh, isn't that interesting? Why did that person cut me off in traffic? Isn't that interesting? It's just so much easier when somebody, if your kid pees in the bed, it's like, oh, isn't that interesting?
This is part of life.
Too much to drink? You know, if whatever it may be, they're having a water cooler talk at work and they're talking about you, isn't it interesting? I don't care.
Exactly.
Don't get energy to things that don't forward you. And I think that's the problem or the challenge for a lot of people and why they're dysregulated, because too many other people are in control of their balloons instead of them being in control of their own.
Oh, yeah. I believe that wholeheartedly. You hit it on the head. I mean, I have the same theory, which is wild, but I haven't heard this theory before. But the energy balloons. But I talk about even with somebody cutting you off in traffic, right? I've been in podcasts where I say, well, if somebody cuts you off in traffic, isn't it better to spend your energy alchemically converted dark energy into positivity by blessing that person and saying, I pray that they make it to their destination safely. Maybe their kid just got into an accident. Maybe there's something wrong with their wife at home. Maybe someone broke in their house, they just got a phone call. Maybe their dog just died. We don't know. Or maybe they're just stressed out. Or maybe they're just idiots.
And
none of it matters. And the fact is, they didn't hit me, I didn't crash, I'm still alive, and I want them to make it to their destination safely. That's all you gotta do. And you just shifted dark energy into positivity, high energy, high frequency. You stayed in a high frequency state, And I believe in karma also. So I think that by putting out positive energy towards people in some way, somewhere down the road, you'll get it back.
I agree. And it's like that saying that says, darkness cannot exist where there's light. It is impossible.
Yeah.
Darkness is either pushed away or it is transformed.
Yeah.
And sometimes for people that are listening, negativity is natural. So you have to be positive on purpose, right? So as you are a light, you also have to know, would you live in a world where negativity is natural all around you? You're choosing to do things differently. When you are that light, just know some people are not ready for the light to shine on their darkness.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, they want to feast the skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
They want to keep the little demons that are hiding in the crevices and in the large. And that's also okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You just continue to be that light. You just continue to be regulated. Keep your energy balloons intact. Make sure that you are taking accountability so you can have the power. It's actually quite strategic.
Yeah.
You want to have a happy life? Choose to control yourself. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the problems that we have are the ones we create ourselves.
I have to pinpoint all my pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't choose pain anymore.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm not choosing pain anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not choosing pain anymore, man. It's all about peace, tranquility. I'm at the stage of my life now where peace is my ultimate goal on a daily basis. One of the things I do every morning is say, okay, today's going to be a peaceful day. Today's going to be a peaceful. I want to manifest peace as much as I can manifest peace, because when I'm manifesting peace, everything else, it just levels itself out. If there's a problem, I don't see it as a problem. I see it as something that has to be solved. Okay, this situation happened. How can I fix it? And there's no more, oh, this is going on. Oh my God, I can't. No, it's just peace and tranquility and solving problems.
I have a question for you, because I feel like a lot of men, you ask them, man, what do you need from a relationship? Y'all are going to say, I want peace. And if you're anything like me and you're a woman that's home and listening or you're watching, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
It's different for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what it means to me is I call them fake arguments. It's almost like forced anger. I've experienced that in the past, where there's kind of like, there's no real reason to be angry, but because things have gone so good for so long, it's like, and I've been told this, it's just too good to be true. You have to have an argument. And I'm like, I have to have an argument? So I know we can disagree, but why do we have to have an argument? So that's just too good. Yeah, that's not normal. This is just not right. There has to be some type of energy, bad energy against each other at some point. And I was also told this by a counselor before. You're not being realistic. You have to fight and argue. I'm like, huh? Why do I have to? For me, it's like, I don't see that. I see a strong disagreement, and I can see we got to connect our toes at night. Yeah. Right? But getting wild and crazy and carrying on and pushing each other to that point, I don't think it's even needed. But so when I say peace, it's just like being supportive, being understanding, giving someone the benefit of the doubt. If you have a question or you see a situation or something doesn't rub you the right way, instead of attacking me, just come and say, hey, can I talk to you for a moment? Let's talk about this situation, and then let's sit down and let's talk about it like adults. And I think, for me, that's very peaceful. I'm like, oh yeah, let's sit down, let's talk. What is it? What's on your mind? What's bothering you? So that we can address it and boom, 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 knock it out the box right there. A lot of the times you'll find out there wasn't even anything. But when it turns into this situation where I think sometimes a person can build up these realities in their mind and then go on the attack, it robs the peace. And it's like, you could have came to me with the peace side first. We could have sat down and talked about this and figured it out, and you realize nothing was even here to talk about. We're both like, oh yeah, okay, cool, and we're gone. We're gone off on our own way. But how do you get to that point when it came with the dark energy? It's very tough. So that's kind of what peace means to me. I mean, I know that there's going to be situations that arise that are going to, when people are together, they're going to piss each other off every now and then. It's just now that I agree with. There's going to be things that are going to be like getting under your skin. Okay, I understand that. But how do we address those things? How do we address them as adults, like conscious, emotionally secure adults, or do we address them as infants having temper tantrums? That's the difference.
I just have to share this because they're like, I agree with you 10,000%. And I know that you have a large female listening is August.
Yeah.
And for the men that love the large E of this and bias, I just want to say something to those men, not you. It's but this is, and I don't know if we talked about this, the tragic flaw of masculinity and femininity.
No.
The thing about women is oftentimes we do come with dark energy. Feminine can be very dark.
Yeah.
It could be very wrathful. Because feminine lives in the now and masculine lives via track.
Okay.
The feminine is coming to you with all this wrath. And instead of men, if you were listening to this, watching this and all, instead of running all the ways of all the reasons why she should not be in wrath, be with her. And just feel it.
Okay.
Let it engulf you.
Yeah.
And it is going to
It's going to engulf me.
And my too would be like, I don't want to have to do this. And it drives me crazy when men say things like, why should I have to even do that? She's not the child. She's not this. She's not that. Why do dogs bark? Why do babies cry? Why does eider spin webs? Why do flies flap? Why do birds have feathers? It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Why does the sun come down in the east and go down in the west? Who cares? The truth is that if you love your woman, meet her where she's at. And women, for men, sometimes you gotta go a little easier on your man. Okay? He doesn't have all that rack coming. But I can promise you, inside of relationships, I always say it's all about heart posture. One of the ways that you cannot get lost inside of the wrath is if you know your person's heart posture, if you know that this person loves me, they value me, they respect me, they trust me, then why would I ever assume, I'm really talking about my ladies right now, but why would I ever assume that they're maliciously trying to hurt me intentionally? And so when I can assume that I love this person, I trust this person, I chose this person, instead of it being wrath, it could just be like, you know, I feel, and then share how you feel. Can I share something with you really? And then I can share how I feel. But I think that both of us as humans, masculine and feminine, that is the biggest tragic flaw. That's the biggest we talk about one. Biggest tragic flaw in masculinity and femininity is that women live in the now and men live being trapped. Masculinity lives being trapped. Femininity lives being out. Because I don't want to just say men or women. And a really great book to read is The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. He breaks down masculinity and femininity beautifully.
Okay. I'll check that book out.
So good.
Yeah.
But I promise you, you can sit in the wrath without explanation or trying to make her understand your point. Because in the moment, the truth is, she's feeling insecure. She's not feeling acknowledged. She doesn't feel loved. She doesn't feel heard. She doesn't feel appreciated. Whatever the feeling, you're not doing anything wrong. And I think most times men think or assume that now that means I've done something wrong. No, they've done anything wrong. She's just in her feelings because that's a feminine thing to do. You see, a lot of men think that they want femininity until they get it.
That's sometimes, you know, like the ancient one says, you can't beat a river into submission. You have to go with the flow. Yeah.
And then you won't drown.
Yeah.
But if you fight that current,
Oh, man.
that riptide will drown you.
Oh, it'll drown you.
If you go with it, you might live.
You might, if they're not narcissists.
That's all I'm saying. I think that it's so funny. I really want to start talking more about that topic. You know, men get so defensive.
Yeah.
They're so defensive, at least in my I'm
Well, I've been defensive. I'm definitely guilty of that. You know, I'll get, hit with something and I'll be like going right into defense mode. Like, hey, no, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, like trying to prove my case, you know, like, no, boom, 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 boom. And I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. And it's hard to get out of that knee-jerk reaction. I've been able to do it sometimes, but not consistently. It takes effort. It takes you have to make it a habit. You have to be very conscious and separate yourself from your thoughts and catch yourself getting ready to go into defense mode. Now, I have found that I can handle defense mode a lot easier if the attack isn't so grand. Like if it's not that bad, it could be bad, but not that bad. It's like, oh, I can handle this. But when it comes like roar, you know what I'm saying? Then it gets kind of tough. Yeah.
I had an experience one time with a person, and I literally said, I steeled myself because when I get really angry. I rarely get really angry. But when I do, I have physical triggers. We all have physical triggers. I just know mine are. My neck starts to get really hot. And then I start to get really quiet in these moments. And so inside of that, now I've realized, okay, I'm triggered. If this person says the wrong thing, this could go one of two ways. All hell could break loose. Or I could say, and now that's what I've started doing. I'll say, I feel myself going into defensive or combative mode, and this isn't conducive. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. And then that's up to that man. Where you gonna lead me? You gonna take me to hell? You gonna take me to heaven? Because I could battle the best of them. I just don't want to. I don't want to fight.
Yeah, I know. It's draining.
It is.
It's so draining.
It is truly a challenge. And that goes back to leadership. But man, we need more leadership.
Yeah, I agree. Amazing. Well, this has been an amazing talk. We went all around disorders and self-love and help and relationships, but I love talking to you because I learn something every time. And it's hard for me, that's not an egotistical statement. I talk to a lot of people, but I know a lot of things too. And I like to bring people on that I can talk to that I can get something out of, because I like a two-way conversation. I like to get information that I can download in my brain and go, oh, wow, I'm gonna think about this. I'm gonna execute that. I'm gonna focus on that. Even some things you just said at the very end had me thinking like, okay, I can see that. No, I understand. I'm gonna try to work on implementing that, to my personality. So, yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So, there's so much that we could talk about. This topic can go on for decades, obviously, but we're going to take a break now and come back for part 2 later.
I love it.
All right. Everyone, that was amazing. Dr. Sarah Fontenot here on the Forbidden Knowledge Podcast. Watch this video at www.4bk.tv or download the app on your smartphone, Fire Stick app, Samsung TV, Roku, and other app providers.